Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics. How you doing? Welcome to the Fantasy MD's Baseball Podcast. Today is Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. This is our 25th episode. I'm your host, Dominic Martino. Here with my co-host, my brother, my partner in crime, Matthew Arnay. Matt, how we doing today, brother?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Things are looking up. Bats are heating up. Some arms are dying. You
Oh
know.
yeah. Yes, sir. Well, you know what, Matt? With you hitting it right there on the nose, why don't we just go right into our finger on the pulse? And today we're going to talk about it. Just seems like all these pitchers are getting rocked all of a sudden, and all the bats are starting to look up, or at least most of them anyway. And I don't know. Do you think the juiced ball's back, or I don't know, man? To me, it's just, or is the weather getting warmer? I don't. It just seems like a total change of pace from April to May here.
I just think players are finally getting loose. Weather is warmer, which means your muscles are loose. You're feeling a little bit more comfortable. There's no, oh my god, I'm freezing my nads off. I could swing the ball. I'm not trying to stay warm and huddling up and trying not to look a little silly out there. It's just a lot better when once May and June starts rolling into the world. It's nice. I mean, some of these players are a little disappointing. I know you had a couple of names in mind.
Yeah, there was a couple names I wanted to throw out there specifically. So a couple guys I just noticed either their last one or two starts to have been getting hit around is I know Dylan Cease got rocked yesterday for either 7 or 8 runs. Saw that ERA. I think it's up over 4 now. Chris Bassett was another one, gave up 8 runs yesterday. That ERA is approaching 4 now. Pablo Lopez, not as bad as the other ones, but gave up 4 runs. I know his cut left maybe 2 out of his last 4 have been rough. And then Garrett Cole, man, 5 runs, 11 strikeouts against that Orioles team. I mean, I like the 11 strikeouts, but I don't know, man, with the 5 runs, it just seems like some of these guys, are just not looking like themselves like they did in the first month there, at least even beginning of May, starting to maybe like you said, things are starting to heat up. Everyone's starting to get loose. But just a couple names I keep an eye on there. See how things play out for those guys. I'm not like super low on them or anything, but it just looks like some of these aces are slowing down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you named Pablo Lopez, who has been getting rocked for his last 3 starts, which is a little disappointing, especially since he was pretty much the number one pitcher overall this year so far.
Oh yeah, he was.
Um, you know what? That's more of a curious case. It's something I'm not too happy to see because I mean it's not even like it's against crazy teams. So, it's something to keep an eye out. My Wario meter is not that high. It's probably about a 3.
Yeah,
Maybe hedging a little to the 4, but that's just about it. Dylan Cease is a monster. I think he's getting some unlucky stuff because I mean, yeah, outside of his last start where he only had 4 Ks with a 21 ERA, the other time he got blown up on May 12th, he had 11 Ks but a 13.5 ERA. So the
yeah.
kid was probably working the magic and just had the wind blow a certain way, and it gave up a couple runs. Plus, that was only in 4 innings. So the kid is an animal. He's a strikeout machine. And who was the other guy you talked about?
Garrett Cole.
Garrett Cole's Garrett Cole. You know
Yeah,
what? I feel like this has been a trend for him. He gets hot. He does some really Coley things, and then you know what? And then it's just like, oh my god, what are you doing? But I mean, hey, you're pitching in New York, so it's a different ball game out there.
yeah. I'll go out there and I'll say this. I think out of all of them, you might be able to get a good deal on Dylan Cease or Chris Bassett right now. Maybe even Pablo Lopez. Cole, you're probably not getting at any sort of a discount, but the other three, maybe you can go out there and buy low. Because I think they'll bounce back a little bit. But once again, guys, I say right now, you want to try and buy on these pitchers because, like Matt said, everyone's starting to get loose. Things are starting to change a little bit as the warm weather's coming. So you might be able to go out there and get like a really good pitcher who's underperforming a little bit right now, trying to get themselves back on par here. So, Cease, Bassett, I'd say go out there and maybe Pablo Lopez, go out there and throw a buy low offer on them at the moment. So with that, we'll transfer into our news and notes segment here. We got a couple good ones here for you today, and a couple of ones that my team cannot catch a break in my big money league. I feel like every turn this week, we got a new injury, but we're pushing along here. So we got Chris Bryant, not Chris Bassett. Geez, we were just talking about Bassett. Chris Bryant back to the IL with the sore back. You don't like to hear that. It's starting to look like a lost season here for KB. Kind of reminded me of Yelich last year with the back where he just couldn't get it together and find the groove. I'm saying let's look for a KB, get healthy maybe towards the end of the season here and put a good September in, heading in towards next year. It just makes me sad to see KB, with that first year in Colorado, not really showing us anything. Then you got some Chicago White Sox here. You got Luis Robert headed to the COVID IL. Not really sure if he actually has it or if they just threw him on there. Not 100% sure. Didn't really see anything specific on that. So maybe he'll be back in a couple days. Maybe he'll be back in a week. We'll see. On to better news, Eloy Jimenez and Lance Lynn are going to be in this rehab game soon. I think they said Eloy next week and Lynn end of the week, Matt. Was that right?
I'm sorry.
With Eloy
Oh
and
yes,
Lance Lynn. Yeah, I think
they're
Eloy they said next week and Lance Lynn end of the week for rehab games.
I think they're both next week. They both should be in a
Okay.
rehab start. We should be hearing where they go and what they're doing by Friday.
There we go. All right. Giancarlo Stanton is officially on the IL with calf sprain. Don't like to see that. I think he hurt it running up to first base the other day. I'm sure we'll have more news in the upcoming days on that, if it's going to be a long-term thing or not. Another Yankee, DJ LeMahieu, his MRI came back clean on that wrist, so I think he's just day-to-day for now. They didn't put him on the IL with Stanton. Also, Jonathan Loaizaga went to the IL as well. Chris Sale's throwing bullpen side sessions. He could be back by the end of June. That's another guy. I mean, just you go out there and you buy low on him at the moment, in my opinion, anyway, because you know what? He's like a Verlander, a guy, a Kershaw. When they're healthy, they're going to be out there dominating, but they're getting older. The injuries are there, unfortunately. But hey, man, things are looking a little bit better for him. Matt, any thoughts
Yeah,
there about Sale? Yeah, I know. I saw you give me the little
I
the
mean,
phalanges.
yeah, he's got the case of the Monteses too recently. But I mean, it's one of those things where I'm not really gonna hold my breath. I mean, I don't even know what his percentage owned because I've seen a
Let's see
lot
if I
of
can get that for you.
yeah. Like I know in a couple leagues I'm in, he's been dropped, which I mean I can
Oh
understand
wow.
why. I can understand why because you know what, you don't really know when he's going to come back. It's the ribs, it's this, it's that, the third, the phalanges. It's just like, come on. So I mean, I could see a setback happening.
84% on Yahoo.
Okay.
84.
So look at in that 16%. But I mean, one thing I'll say is I'm not even trying to go out and trade for him. I don't even think he's worth much. Maybe if you want to throw him in as an add-on in a trade you're currently working on, that'd probably be the only way. But I mean, he's just going to eat up an IL spot for at least a month, and then if
Yeah,
that,
I
I
hear
don't
that.
see him coming back until at least the All-Star break. You know what? End of June. What they're going to roll him out there to cool him off 2 weeks later? I just
Yeah.
don't see it.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Matt, and I'm going to agree in this sense that if you're banged up, I know a couple of my teams right now are really, really banged up. If you don't have the room, by all means, you shouldn't be out there trying to acquire him. I do like what Matt said, though. He's a nice little throw in a trade if you do have the room on your IL. Uh, but keep it pushing here with the news and notes. Jonathan India looks like he's about 2 weeks away from a rehab assignment. Kind of just looks like another guy has like almost a lost season here, giving me Kyle Lewis vibes of past. When he won the Rookie of the Year. Then we didn't see much of him since then. Willie Adames is out till at least next week with that bad ankle. Taylor Ward, this is a good one. He should be back soon. Got a clean MRI in the next shoulder area. I think he's out today, but we should see him back in that lineup sooner than later for the Angels. Wilson Contreras for the Cubs missed the last 3 games with the hamstring injury, but he is expected to avoid an IL stint. Another catcher here, Salvador Perez of the Kansas City Royals, is looking like he'll return from the COVID IL when first eligible later this week from that thumb injury. Jesus Luzardo still is not throwing. There's no timetable. That one just looks like I couldn't possibly see him being back anytime before the All-Star break, if even then.
He's got the case of the Monteses. It's bad.
Yeah, he's a drop for me. I know I was a high on him coming into the year, and he was pitching great. A couple bad starts here and there. Even I dropped him in most of my leagues at this point. I think it's a safe drop at the moment. Michael Kopeck is going to be skipped this week for the Chicago White Sox. They're looking to get him some extra rest. It's a guy, he didn't pitch a lot of innings last year. He just hasn't pitched a lot in his career yet, but he's been having an awesome season. He's been absolutely showing out for that team. I don't think this is the breakout year. I think next year is going to be the big strikeout, big inning year for Michael Kopeck. Jorge Polanco is day-to-day for the Minnesota Twins. He got a sore right ankle. And this one is just like breaking. We literally, Matt and I just saw this. Ronald Acuna Jr. is day to day for the Atlanta Braves. Looks like he's got a little bit of a sore quad there. Looks like he's starting to, build up a little bit of injury proneness there too, Matt. That's your boy, though. I'll let you speak upon him.
It's disappointing. I mean, it's to be expected almost because you know what? He came into baseball late, barely had a rehab assignment because he was just straight mashing. And then, then he goes down with the groin and now this, it's just like, come on now. But at the
I
same
think.
time, go
Oh, I'm
ahead.
sorry, my brother. Go
No,
ahead.
go,
No,
go
finish.
ahead.
Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
No, I forgot it now. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, my fault. I was just gonna say this. I feel like we talked about him when he came off the IL a couple weeks ago. He had a little tiny injury scare, right? Am I correct? Or was something
Yeah.
else? And I just think, I said the same thing last time. They're not keeping him from himself. They're still letting him run rampant out there. He's out there playing the field, making catches, stealing bases. Not that he can't do it, because we all know he can. He's one of the best players in baseball. But sometimes you got to say, hey, slow it down. Maybe DH him every other day. Maybe say, hey, don't steal bases for, at least a month or something like that. So we can see him out there playing every day, doing these things at the end of the season and the playoffs when the Braves really need him to do it. I mean, that's my thoughts anyway. I don't know why the Braves are just letting him run rampant.
I mean, he's a young player who probably doesn't want to stop and slow down. That's the thing.
Yeah, the stubbornness of being, 2022 again, right?
Yeah, I mean, I remember those days, but I
Me
mean,
too.
it's one of those things too, where I mean, the kid can do it. It's just,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I, th-
100%.
I think it's more of, you know what, it could be a little bit on. Obviously, he probably needs to warm up to this, and then probably a little bit more on the training staff, in my opinion, because
Yeah, that too.
you see a team that like where a lot of guys get hurt or a lot of guys have like these soft tissue issues. That's really more based off of training staff. I forgive the Royals. They don't get a
They
pass.
need to fire everybody.
No. They just need to get rid of the one person that's making them look bad. But anyway, I don't think he has a case of the Monteses yet. I think he's just coming back and finally, getting vaccinated from the Monteses. So we'll
Yeah.
see. I got to stop. I'm wearing that joke out.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I know. I do like it. It is hilarious, but yeah, Acuna. I mean, I wouldn't say he's there yet. Won't put him in that class, but he needs to be saved from himself at some point. Somebody needs to sit the kid down. Whether even Bryce Harper could get in his ear and say, "Hey, slow down." That's what worked for him. I know after Bryce finally, got that one he lost year to running in the wall. He finally said, hey, he finally stopped making all of those crazy plays and he slowed his game down a little bit and he's, two-time MVP now. So I think, they should probably take some notes from that. But we'll move here into some couple ads we got for you today. I'll just give you a heads up, guys. We're gonna run this one a little bit short here today. Got a couple things to take care of for both of us here. But we will leave you with some very good names to pick up here today on the waiver wire segment. We're gonna start off with a couple good bats here. Somebody who I mentioned earlier in the episode and somebody who just came back from on the IL. That is Kyle Lewis of the Seattle Mariners. We did talk about him on this podcast previously, but he is officially back from the IL, and he went 2 for 4 in his first game. I actually wish he wasn't owned in a few of my leagues where I wanted to snag him, but people got to him before I did. He actually had a great rehab stint there. He hit 314 with 3 bombs, 12 RBIs over 10 games for AAA. Former Rookie of the Year, has a lot of pedigree. I say go out there and snag him. 30% owned on Yahoo. Not sure if I said that already or not, but go out there and snag Kyle Lewis if you need an outfielder.
Oh yeah, I think that he has a lot of upside going in for it, and he's going to bring a nice little boost to your lineup. All right, I mean, I don't think I need to go too far out there. We actually have
Yeah.
we have a little catcher action for you today, and that's William Contreras of the Atlanta Braves. Um, he's actually low key been pretty good recently. The last week he's had 3 runs, 2 bombs, 3 ribbies, batting 417. I'll take that all day. Last week wasn't so bad either. Similar numbers with 3 runs, 1 bomb, and 1 ribby, batting 269. He's getting the at bats at least. That's a good thing as a catcher. So I mean, I'm pretty happy with the playing time because usually catchers don't play every single day, but he's getting his at bats. So he's somebody worth an ad at least, especially if you're weak at catcher.
Yeah, I say right now, there's probably a lot of teams out there that could use a catcher. And William Contreras, actually brother of Wilson Contreras, little fact there, if everyone didn't know that. Guess it runs in the family because the kid's starting to look really good. 262 on the year, got 6 bombs, 10 RBIs, even threw in a steal. He's played the last 3 days there for the Braves. Like Matt said, he's getting his at-bats in on a really good team, too. So I think the RBIs are going to stick. The batting average, I'm not 100% sure if he's going to keep it up, but you know what? At a position where, I know a lot of people are struggling these days. It's time to cut bait with some of these guys that ain't doing it. I say get Yasmani Grandal out of there and, in leagues, unless it's like a 15-man, but 12-mans at this point, he should be done. Mitch Garver's looking a little bit better these days, but even he's another one. There's just a lot of catchers out there that aren't getting the job done, and William is. So I'd say he's a safe ad at the catcher position. We'll say one more little thing. I want to throw out a little caveat out there. We've talked about him a lot recently, so we didn't want to put him on this episode. But MJ Melendez, if he's out there, I have him above Wilson Contreras. Go out there and get that kid. He's a absolute stud for the Kansas City Royals. Matt, you want to throw in a little MJ rant there real quick for a second?
I mean, this fact that he's 38% owned is still criminal.
Yeah, that's why I felt like I had to say something again.
Yeah. I mean, he's been great. He hit a bomb yesterday, hit a bomb the day before. Well, not the day before. Hit a bomb, been hitting bombs. And he's getting his at-bats too. He's had 28 at-bats in the last week, in the last 7 days, 42 at-bats in the last 2 weeks. That's pretty solid. That's everyday play. And he's batting about 286 in the last week. So you know what? I'm rocking him in every league right now, personally.
Yeah, I'd say he's a top 10 catcher going forward for the season, in my opinion, easily.
As long as Perez don't take it out from under him, but
yeah, I think even when Salvi comes back, I think it's gonna be they're gonna let MJ catch a little bit more. They're gonna put Salvi at DH more often because you don't bring a guy up like MJ Melendez and then tell him, hey, sit on the bench. It's just not something you do. It's not good for a young kid like that's development.
The Twins do it. I mean, they're just they're maybe following in the footsteps.
I hear the Royce Lewis hate coming here. They need to get him back up, right, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, speaking of the devil of our next guy, Geo Archello, I guess he feels the heat because what do you call it? Lewis is actually getting a little play time in the minors right now at third and left field.
Yes,
so they're
sir.
trying to find it, but I mean that's Gio Urshela's job at third right now at full time. So I mean, shoot, he's feeling the heat because my man is actually killing it right now.
Yeah, he's been picking it up late.
Yeah, he has this last week he has 4 runs, no bombs with 5 ribbies, batting .438. And the last 2 weeks, it's 7.28 and 297. So I think he's feeling the heat because Lewis came up swinging good like a pro.
Yes, sir. With Geo though, I think Geo is a good ad in deeper leagues. 25% owned on Yahoo. Third base and shortstop eligibility as well. Matt read you off his numbers there. He's been playing a lot better of late. Playing almost every single day there for the Minnesota Twins. Good team. They've been winning baseball games. I think he's gonna score runs in that lineup. Throw you some RBIs as well. So he's a pretty good ad. It's a juice to orange type situation though, where
Absolutely.
he's not a guy that you're banking on for the rest of the season, but while he's out there performing, you go out there and get him. We got one more guy here in the bats. Another catcher for you. We try and help the community out in the catcher position because it's just really tough out there right now. This guy's a little bit more highly owned and a little bit higher end than I wouldn't say MJ, but he's a little bit higher end than who we just talking about there, William Contreras.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Mitch Garver here of the Texas Rangers. I truly think that he's going to bounce back here. He's just coming back from an injury, and he's actually played every game since May 19th. It's a lot of games in a row. He hit a bomb on May 24th, 2 for 4 that day. He's got 5 bombs, 10 RBIs. I think he finds his stride here, with the Texas Rangers. Maybe him, Simeon, and Seager will really get it going here in the second half. 52% owned on Yahoo. Once again, get rid of Yasmani Grandal and all these other guys that are underperforming. And if somebody dropped Mitch Garver in your league, I say he's a safe ad. If I had to rank the 3 though that we talked about today, I'm probably going MJ first, Mitch Garver second, and William Contreras third.
Yep, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, all right, my brother. So you want to transition into the pitchers there? You got one that you feeling today?
I mean, I'm kind of feeling Ansby, Aaron Ansby. You picked him up today, if I remember.
Aaron Ashby started for Milwaukee Brewers.
So he's looking pretty good. His last outing was really good, actually. That was against San Diego too. So that's
he pitched today. That one was today.
Oh, that's wow. I don't even know the day anymore. Hello. Yeah. So you got 5 Ks, no earned runs, and a whip of 1.24. So that's really good. And you know what? If that continues, he's chilling.
Yeah. I mean, I picked him up in a couple of leagues here. Looks like he's taking a Freddie Peralta's spot here, and I think he's gonna run with it. He looks like he's been really good so far. He had 8 strikeouts in his outing before the most recent one. Matt, bear with me. I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties on my end. So
No worries. How about I
yeah,
just move on to the next guy?
yeah, go move on to the next guy here for a second.
So another name I'm going to butcher. So I'm just going to say Ansby Contreras.
Ron Sneak Contreras. You got it. You got it.
Oh, okay, cool. First time. So anyway, first time I'm pronouncing it too. But he's been pretty good recently. He's a starting pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's been pretty good over his last start was actually really great against Colorado. 5 Ks, no earned runs, 1 WHIP. Previous start only got 3 innings, but he's starting to get more innings going. 5 Ks in 3 innings, which is really good. With only giving up about one or two runs there. He had a 3 ERA with a .33 WHIP. It's pretty impressive. He's about 25% owned, and he's at least worth an ad at some point. So I'm pretty pumped. You know what? If you're hurting like most of the league and most of the world with pitching, he's probably a guy you want to take a look at.
Yeah, let me hop back in here, Matt, for a second. I just want to say, Ronsny is a very high-end prospect for the Pirates. I'm not sure if you mentioned that,
I did
but
not.
he just came back up. He's going to get a shot in the rotation here after, at the beginning of the year, he was in the bullpen for the team, and he looked all right. He pitched pretty good, but I believe they wanted to get some control over him, so they sent him back down. Just called it back up, and he had that good start. I believe it was today or this morning against the Rockies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Matt, you read off those stats? I'm sure you did, right? Yeah. So, guys, just go out there and grab him. Did we get an ownership percentage on him too?
Yes, we did.
You're on point. I'm sorry, guys, about that. I had a little bit of technical difficulties here on my end, but we'll keep it pushing here. Matt, who do we have next? What's the next name there?
We just have the last name, Michael Lorenz.
Oh yeah, Michael Lorenzen. Somebody who we've talked about on the pod before, one of the podcast darlings of the year, I'd say. Somebody we told you to pick up at the beginning of the year, and he's been just crushing it so far this year. I know I've dropped him, picked him up a couple times. He is actually 48% owned on Yahoo, so everyone needs to step it up. He's thrown 41 innings this year, 29 strikeouts, 5 wins, 3.05 ERA, 106 WHIP. He's been on fire. I mean, he's got Toronto in his next one. I might add him and hold off on that one. They're starting to heat up a little bit. I know Vlad hit a home run the other day. Rest of the team is looking a little bit better. So I mean, if you're feeling froggy, you might leap on that one and throw him out there. But otherwise, maybe sit back. But he's been throwing some really like long inning games, 6 innings, 7 innings, 8 innings. He's just been getting the job done.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? At this point, pitching's been so putrid. Why not? I mean, he's not really a K per nine guy, but he's at least putting it up and getting you and not murdering you. His ERA is fantastic. So, I mean, if you're going to pick up a pitcher off the waivers, somebody especially for a pitch and ditch situation, if they're going to bring down your ERA and scoop up some Ks along the way and get you that long time innings and then be qualifying for the win, that's where you really want to get it done. And he's probably a great pitch and ditch category, at least for that.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, man. I think he's even better than that. I think he was a young kid. He was another guy, a high-end prospect, and he was actually a hitter and a pitcher. They used him to lure Ohtani to the Angels when he first came by, saying that he did both. And it just looks like now that he's focusing on the pitching, he's really locking in here. And he gives me like vintage Kyle Hendricks vibes. Like you said, he's definitely not a K per nine guy, but he's gonna give you a lot of innings. He's gonna qualify for that wins. 48% owned. I think he should be around like 65, 70% owned. And like I said, maybe you're not starting him every single time out, but I think by the end of the year, man, he might be somebody sitting on people's rosters, and you're like, wow, Michael Lorenzen, huh? He had a pretty damn good year.
Yes,
That's
sir.
just my take on him.
Well, you make a fair point. Let's see what happens if he keeps doing what he's doing. You know what? Maybe I'll have a change of heart. But I mean, he's already
Yeah, and
48% owned, so he's on his way.
yeah. I just think the people need to get him up there a little bit more in leagues. I'm mad that I dropped him in a couple leagues that I had him in. I was thinking he was a streamer too, but it's just looking like he's turning out to be a little bit better than that this year.
Amen.
Well, on that note, guys, like we said, we're wrapping this one up a little bit early here tonight. We apologize, and I don't think we're going to hit our next episode either. We might push it back a day or two. Everything might get pushed back a little bit next week, but the Fantasy MDs will be here for you. We're going to get you that information one way or another.
Mhm.
And once again, like I ask at the end of every podcast, if you like what you hear, just go out on YouTube, subscribe, go on Apple and Spotify, write us a little review on there. It goes a long way. Also a 5-star review goes a long way as well, guys. And until next time, we appreciate that. The Fantasy MDs. See you.
Yeah. Peace. Enjoy your Memorial Day, everybody.
Yes, everyone. Enjoy.